Go ahead, take a moment, pick one thing that you need to do it, and get it done. Hey guys, it's me, Sonja, back again with another video, and we're talking about focus. Actually, I want to give you 3 ways to focus in at work, okay? But before I do all that, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Hey guys, my name is Sonja from SonjaW Coaching, and we are all about making sure that multi-passionate, overwhelmed women learn how to acknowledge, live, execute, and win their dreams. We're all about making dreams meet reality here at SonjaW Coaching. So I wanted to talk about different ways to be focused and different places where we need to be focused, right? So today we are talking about 3 ways to stay focused at work. Now, have you ever found yourself like just distracted at work, struggling to keep all of the different tasks that you need to put together on the right page, just moving forward? Is it just me? Is it just me? I don't know. I hope it's not just me. But if it is just me, then it's just for me. And hopefully, somebody else can be like, you know what? I struggled a little bit with this, okay? So anyway, I find that I have tons of different things that I have to keep on top of at work. And sometimes I can get really overwhelmed. And honestly, for me, when I get overwhelmed, I just stop. I don't do anything. And I know that that is not the best way to go about life. It isn't. So I don't know if you're like me, where you end up just stopping and just not doing anything, maybe starting to listen to music or watch something instead of doing the work that you got to do. Or are you the one who is like just gonna push until you fall out somewhere? Either side of the coin, not so good, okay? So I wanted to give you 3 ways to make sure that you can focus in at work and actually get some things done. You ready for this? So let me tell you 3 things. Number 1, stop multitasking. Yeah. I know. Everybody's all about the multitask, right? Let me make sure I get this training done while I do this. Let me write this list. Stop it. It's not helping you. It's not going to work, okay? And actually, research shows that it doesn't actually work. Just think about it. So, you've ever had, an assignment to do, and you also had like I don't know, at school you had a paper to write, you also had like some math work to do or something like that, right? So you're kind of like flitting in between each thing, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna write a little bit of this paper, then I'm gonna hop over to this algebra work or this calculus work. Okay, let me do one problem, then go back over here. It doesn't work. Don't you ever feel like it just, you didn't get a good job done at anything? Or you're like me and think that you can do a training while also writing up like a contract or something, right? So you're writing this contract and you're kind of like halfway listening to this training, and you turn in stuff and your boss is like, what is this? There's always a mistake that is so easy to find, but you miss it because you were not completely focused. Matter of fact, that actually happened to me recently. I was doing this online training, and I was kind of like going back and forth with something, and I literally was like halfway answering this question, and I answered it. And then when I looked at it, it said it was incorrect. And then when I looked at it, I said, oh my gosh, I know that's incorrect. That is not the answer. And I answered it that way because I was not paying attention. And you know what? Research actually shows that we can't hold 2 or more things at the same level of importance for long. Okay? It actually shows that you're either not going to get the in-depth work that you need to do, or you're going to gloss over things that you would not have otherwise glossed over if you were focused on the task. right? So it's just so important that you actually focus in and do the work. The research shows that you may be able to do the 2 tasks, but you won't get the deep work that you need to get done in it. Or you'll miss some easy things that you could have missed, that you wouldn't have missed if you just focused in on the one task. So I encourage you, take a moment, decide which task you're gonna focus on, and actually focus on it. Like I told you, I already messed my own self up because I've done this. I do this plenty of times, like all the time. I'm like, oh, I could do more than one thing. And it never fails that I am not as excellent as I could be if I focused. So I encourage you, go ahead, take a moment, pick one thing that you need to do it, and get it done. So multitasking, stop it. It doesn't work, okay? Then the next thing is to take a break. Literally take a break. Get up, do something else. Get up, stretch your body, stretch your mind, walk away from your desk, and then come back to it again, okay? There's actually research again. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm a nerd. I'm a research nerd. So I'm always looking up new ways to be a little bit more productive. And there's actually research that talks about the fact that you cannot focus for long on one task, right? And what was so interesting is that this is super important past this post-Panera era. I don't think I can say the word that I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Post-pandemic, all that. It's so important because more and more of us have been staring at a screen all day. So we have to make sure that we're taking breaks. There's actually power in that. Have you ever thought about when you've been like writing something for a long time and then you walked away from it, maybe you put it down for a day and then you came back and you had like all this new energy and all these new ideas for it? It's because you took a break. There's actually a productivity technique called the Pomodoro Technique that can help with that. Now, that technique actually says to do 25 minutes on and then a 5-minute break. So you work for 25 minutes straight, no distractions, just keep going at it. And then you stop. You go do something else for 5 minutes. Maybe you close your eyes for 5 minutes. Maybe you just walk around your room for a little bit, right? And then you come back refreshed and renewed to start again. That's the Pomodoro effect. Now, sometimes I do that a lot, but sometimes I extend it a little bit because sometimes you want a longer time of uninterrupted work, right? So sometimes I'll extend it to 45 minutes or even 50 minutes, and then I will take a little bit of time to break and then come back to it. So whatever you do, make sure that you're taking regular breaks because that is what's going to keep you refreshed and keep you able to keep going, okay? So, what did I just tell you? Stop multitasking and take breaks, okay? Then the last thing to do, and this one is probably something that you've always heard, is to have a list. To have a list, but here's the kicker. Prioritize it. One key thing that I think is so good with this having a list type of thing is to actually prioritize 2 or 3 things that if you get them done today, you've won. Because sometimes having a list allows you to focus in, but it can also get overwhelming. It can also be like, man, I have 20 things to do and I feel like a failure because I only did 2 of them. Sometimes you have such big ideas and big tasks that you misconstrue how much time it's going to take to do something. So the key is to actually prioritize them. There are some things that you really need to get done today, and then there's some things that you may not need to really get done on this day, right? So figure out the top 3 things that if nothing else happens, these 3 happen, then you've won. Do it, okay? Put those 2 to 3 things at the top of your list and focus on those first. Then when you get to the rest of those things, man, those are just gravy on top. That's the little cherry on top of your sundae. And it makes you feel even more accomplished because you've set a priority and you've gotten it done. Okay? So make sure that you do that. So what did I talk about? I talked about 3 major things that you can do to allow yourself to stay focused at work. Number 1, stop multitasking. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It doesn't work. Okay? Or it'll work, but you won't be doing your best work. Okay? Yes, I said it. You won't do your best work. Okay? Then 2, take frequent breaks. Go ahead and try out that Pomodoro technique. If that feels like too short, extend it a little bit, but make sure that you're making regular intervals of rest, okay? And then finally, have a list and prioritize it with the top 3 at the top. Those are 3 ways of many that you can do to help yourself focus just a little bit more at work. A little bonus one, have a good music list, okay? When you have a really good music list that keeps you going, sometimes like a soundtrack or some really good instrumental music will keep you moving throughout the day. For me, a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, I just have like this instrumental worship music just playing all the time. And that helps me to stay focused, right? So I encourage you, I gave you a little bonus. I had 3, but I decided let me throw in the little music one in there for you. So I encourage you, try out some of these techniques this week and let me know in the comments if this helped you, if it helped you actually focus just a little bit more on the task at hand. All right? So I hope that this was helpful for you. Go ahead, if it was, like that video, share it, and also subscribe. I want to help more and more people learn how to live intentionally and do great things with the time that they have, okay? So listen, go ahead and do it. And what are those 3 things that I told you to do today? Multitasking does not work, so stop it. Take frequent breaks and make that list and prioritize it. Anyway, guys, have an awesome, awesome day wherever you are.